Right, question 6. Here is a rectangle and all measurements are in centimeters. The area of the rectangle is 48 centimeters squared. We need to show that y equals 3. Well, the two parallel sides are always equal in this triangle. And therefore, we can start with the sides. 5x minus 9 equals 2x plus 6. So 5x minus 9 should be equal to 2x plus 6. And in this case, I need to bring all the like terms together. So 5x minus 2x equals 6 plus 9. So I basically take away 2x from both sides and add 9 to both sides. And therefore I get 3x equals 15. Therefore x equals 15 over 3, which is 5. Now, since x is 5, I can now put the x value into the side, so I can get the side to be 2x plus 6 equals 2 times 5 plus 6, which is 10 plus 6, and that is 16. Now, so 16 is the side. To find the area is height times length, which is 16 times y equals 48. So the side here is 16, and that too is 16. So 16 times y will be the area. So 16 times y equals 48, and therefore y divide both sides by 16 is 48 over 16, and that gives 3. So therefore y equals 3. Here's question 7. Brogan needs to draw the graph of y equals x squared plus 1. Here is our graph. Now, write down one thing that is wrong with Brogan's graph. So, what is wrong with this graph? It's obvious the lines shouldn't be straight line, but they should be sketch curve. So the line should be sketch curves, not straight line. So line should be curves rather than straight line, not straight line. So that's one thing that is wrong. That's obvious. Question 8. Write these numbers in order of size. Start with the smallest number. Right, so the smallest number will be 0.246, and the next number along will be 0.246 recurring 246, followed by this one here, which is 0.246 recurring 46, and finally 0.246 recurring 6. So our answer will be 0.246 followed by 0.246 to, well, recurring 246, and the next one will be 0.24 recurring 46, sorry. And the final one will be 0.246 recurring. All right, question 9. James and Peter cycled along the same 50-kilometer route. James took 2.5 hours to cycle the 50 kilometer. Peter started to cycle 5 minutes after James started to cycle. Peter caught up with James when they had both cycled 15 kilometers. James and Peter both cycled at constant speed. We need to work out Peter's speed. Right. It might be a good idea to just quickly think about this in a graphical sense. You don't have to do this. So I decided to choose a graphical sense. If that was 50, maybe I want to just have a point there. Maybe. And this is James going there and that point is 2.5 hours. So this is time t in hours. And the height here is in kilometer. And that's 0. So the speed of James, speed is distance travel over time taken. So speed equals distance travel over time taken. For James, it would be 50 over 5 over 2, because 5 over 2 is 2.5. It's easy to work in this fraction because we're not using calculator. So that would be 50 over 5, times 2 over 1. So what I've done is I have basically turned my division into times. So my division is 50 divided by 5 over 2. So I turn the divide into times. I have to flip the denominator. So that would be 2 over 5. In that case, 5 cancel 5. So I'm getting 10 times 2, which gives me 20. So that's 20 kilometers per hour. So that's James's speed. And this is James. Because the speed is constant along that line. Peter, on the other hand, caught up with James at 15 kilometers. And I'm guessing that's the time, therefore, Peter caught up with James. And in order to find that, so we need to, because they're both traveling at the same speed, at that point, they both have the same speed. But Peter started at 5 minutes late. So we could also sketch the graph because they both caught up at 15. So this will be Peter's graph. There, that'll be Peter's. So that's Peter. And 5 minutes in hours is, so for 5 minutes in hours will be 5 over 60, which is 1/12. So this is 1/12. We need to find the speed, the time that Peter caught up with James. And knowing that the speed is distance over time, we know the speed is 20. We need to make t the subject, so t will be distance over speed, which is 15 kilometers divided by 20. And 50 divided by 20, 5 goes in 15, that's 3, 5 goes in 20, that's 4. That would be 0.75 hours. So here will be 0.75 hours. Now, what we now need to do is to find the gradient of Peter, because if you find the gradient of Peter, that will be the speed of Peter. And we can't find the gradient for Peter because this, let's call this point number 1 and that's point number 2. And gradient between 2 points, the coordinate will be T2, D2, and this point coordinate here will be T1, D1. Now, T2 is 0.75, T1 is 1/12, and D2 is 15, and D1 is 0. So the gradient, which is the speed, is D2 minus D1 over T2 minus T1, which is 15 minus 0 over 3/4. That's 0.75 minus 1/12. So I decided to work in fraction. So that would be 15 over, well, so it'll be 9/12, because I'm multiplying both top and bottom by 3 to keep the same denominator, 1/12, and that will be 15 over 8/12. Again, I need to flip the division. So I'm going to get 15 over 8 times 12/1 for the speed. And that will become, well, 4 in 8, that will be 2. And 4 in 12, that will be 3. So 15 times 3 is 45 over 2, which gives us 22.5 kilometer per hour. So Peter's speed is 22.5 kilometer per hour. Now, question 10. We need to write down the value of 100 to the power a half. Well, so 100 to the power a half is actually written as, you could write it this way, 10 squared, which is 100, times power of a half, which is 10 to the power 2/2, because 2 times 1 is 2. And 2/2 is 1, so that will be 10 to the power 1, which is 10. Another way to write this is to say 100 square root of 2 of 100, which is 10. So that's quicker. So the answer is 10. B part. Well, 125, so let's just do this. 125 to the power 2/3 would be actually 5 cube is 125 to the power, well, 2/3, which means we need to multiply the powers. So that would be 5, 3 times 2/3, and that will become 5 squared, because 3 cancel 3, and that is 25. So the answer is 25. Another way to do it would be, right, 125 cube root into bracket squared. So that's what it is. That is. So therefore, which is 5 squared, and that will be 25. Question 11. 3 teas and 2 coffees have a total cost of 7.8. So we might write this as 3 tea plus 2 coffee equals 7.8, and 5 tea plus 4c equals 14.2. I'm going to name this equation 1, and I'm going to solve them simultaneously. Equation 2. In order to solve them simultaneously, I need to make one of the variable the same. Either make t the same or make c the same. So in order to make c the same, I need to multiply equation 1 by 2. So I'm going to say multiply equation 1 by 2, and that gives me 60 plus 4c equals, now 7.8 times 2 will be, let's just do that, 7.8 times 2. So 2 times 8 is 16, so write 6 carry 1. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. So that will be 15.6. So good, 15.6. And then I'll take away equation 2 from it. So that'll be 5t plus 4c equals 14.20. So now I'll do take away, because if I take away, then I can cancel c's. 60 minus 5t is just 1t. 4c minus 4c is 0, so that becomes 15.6 minus 14.2, that would be 1.4. So time, or t equals 1.4. So that means tea cost £1.40. Now I know tea, I need to find coffee price of coffee. So I need to substitute t into one of the equations. So I'm going to substitute t. So I'm going to say, let me just draw a line here. I say sub t equals 1.4 into equation 1. So my equation 1 is 3t, so I'm going to have 3 times 1.4 plus 2c equals 7.8. Now I need to do 3 times 1.4, so I do 1.4, and I put 3 here times. 3 times 4 is 12, so write 2 carry 1. 3 times 1, 3 plus 1, that would be 4. So that's 4.2. So that would be 4.2 plus 2c equals 7.8. I need to take the like terms together. So 2c equals 7.8 minus 4.2. So I subtract 4.2 from both sides, and therefore I get 3.6 and 2c, and therefore c divide both sides by 2 is 3.6 divided by 2, and I get 1.8. So my coffee price is £1.08, and my tea price is £1.04, 40 pence. £1.80, £1.40. We've been given a couple of information to draw the box plot. To draw a box plot, we need lower quarter. A lower quarter is Q1, and we need medium. A medium is Q2, and we need upper quarter, which is Q3. We also need the list height, which is lower range, the lowest height, so which is 154. We need the highest height, which weren't given. We're given the range, which is 20, and interquarter range, which is 7. So to find the upper quarter, we use this formula: interquarter range equals Q3 minus Q1, and therefore Q3 is interquarter range plus Q1, and that will give us 7 plus 161, and that's 168. So to draw that, we need to come here and draw 168. Right, next is to find the medium. So we know the medium is 165. So we come here and I better draw that properly. So come here and I draw 165. Next is to draw the lower quarter, which is 161. So I'll come there and I draw 161. Now I need to join them together. Right, and then I need to draw my range. So the highest range will be, so H will be equal to range plus list range or list height. So that will be 20 plus 154. So that will be 174. So 174 is here. So I just joined my line there. And my list range is 154, so which is here. And I just join my line. So that's my box plot.